the crown, roll keys to bets. My team, my vision, placing bold bets. Strategies drawn with passion and might. Pre-iron tactics will overnight. Set my lineup is signed, gotta make that call. Dynasty dreams, I won't let them fall. Every yard, every play, it's all on me. The future's bright, champions you'll see. Hold the line and fight the sound. In Dynasty, we'll own this ground. Trading players, build it strong. In this league, we'll right the wrong. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
It's the dynamic
Nice.
duo. It's the dynamic duo.
Love that song. That was great. I didn't know that was coming.
No, of course he didn't know it was coming.
Why would I? Why would I?
Taylor is back with us in the Fantasy Flyer. It's been too long, good sir. Too long. How you been?
It has been very long. Good. Yeah, I guess pretty much just the crew from Fiddy Tree watches this, but for anybody else watching, I had my second child, so took some more time off while getting a routine going. And now I'm nursing a cold from the first child.
That's good. Good to hear. Congrats on the second child. I know I said that to you off camera. Now I'll say it to you on camera. Congrats.
Thank you,
cheers.
sir.
Cheers with the Fresca. It's a non-alcoholic beverage for all the kids in the house. But this was an opportune time. I did the first 2 weeks. Welcome to the Jungle. And then, of course, the sequel that dropped this past week. And now he's back because week 3, it turns out me and Taylor face off. So we're going to chit chat a little bit, and we're going to go through our lineups and whatnot. And then we're going to talk just a little hair about the Thursday night football game because I'm aggravated, as Taylor found out pre-show, and he kind of watched me vent for 15 minutes. So it was a great time to cover all that. But let me get the old screen share going so that we can get this. Is that clear for you?
Yep.
All right, that's good. That's what we like to see.
Would you have been so aggravated with the game if you weren't a Drake May owner?
I think I still would be. I don't look at the other quarterbacks. They're all playing behind horrible offensive lines. They're not good. They're not good. It's just, it's not going to win anything long term. We're going to talk about that later. This is how it broke down so far, just through Thursday night. Obviously, we have our entire weekend, so we'll go bit by bit and kind of talk. I don't know. Do you want to go position group by position group, and we'll both kind of touch on each other's, and then we'll move along? Pause.
Gay!
Yeah, that works.
Sounds good. All right, so we'll start with the quarterback because me and Taylor facing off for the first time this year. There it goes. I'm having technical issues on one thing that I think is spreading to another, and it's not. There is no technical syphilis going on. Okay, so I have my two quarterbacks as they've been through the first 2 weeks. It hasn't changed. Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford. I will start on mine. Of course, I'm on the left side of the call. I think this is I can't expect Kyler Murray to come out and do what he did last week, right? He was 17 for 21 or something like that with 266 yards and 4 touchdowns. He ran for 60 yards. Hands down the best quarterback in the league last Sunday. And I'd like to see that, but I think expectations should be timid compared to that. So, I think I like his rushing has come back. I'm happy with Kyler. A tough matchup on the run game for James Conner and for Trey Benson against Detroit. Detroit is top 3 in the league against the run, depending on whether it's inside, outside zone. So it's tough to kind of sit here and say that the Kyler Murray experiment will be as free range as it was against the Rams last week. But I am a fan of Kyler Murray still. He's my starting quarterback except for when he's hurt or when he's on bye. Matthew Stafford against San Francisco. San Francisco looks to be without Nick Bosa and Charvarius Ward. They're both, I believe they're questionable, but I believe it's also leaning towards they will be out for their matchup. However, the Rams are without everybody, including all of their starting coaches, because they're all hurt. Cooper Kupp is out for who knows how long. Puka Nakua is on IR. It's basically Demarcus Robinson and Tutu Atwell and Tyler Johnson and Colby Parkinson, which is kind of just like the Avengers of mid. So it's gonna be, I don't know. I am very on the fence with Stafford. I am in the back of my mind debating a Justin Fields. He will probably start. I think Russell Wilson has removed the Q tag, and I do not believe he's starting still. Um that would change that would make my decision a little bit. I just think the pass options that Matthew Stafford has are shaky. I think that Justin Fields is getting a little more confident. And I also don't see the Chargers defense anywhere near as challenging as San Francisco. But I probably won't make that decision until we get to the I believe we'll say 11:30 or 12 o'clock hour on Sunday. So something that I could be talking about on Tuesday is that I decided to make the wrong choice, whichever way that may be. So I'm just clearing the air for myself. So on your side, Taylor, obviously I think that one of these is is very, very easy decision to make. So
Yeah. Can't not start Dak. He's had a couple of rough-ish. I don't think he's looked bad, but fantasy point wise, not great. Hopefully he has to, fight for it a little bit more this week and put up some more points and goes well for me. But on the other side of things, it's Deshaun versus Kirk. Week 2 with Kirk was a lot better. I think I like Kirk in most situations better. And honestly, it was a toss-up between him and Watson. Not really
that's fair.
honestly sure why I went with Watson. I may flip-flop on that again. But
that's your right. That's your right as a team manager. You can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, splitting hairs, I think the Giants are a bit of a worse defense than not a bit of a worse defense than the Chiefs.
They're definitely, it's tough on this because the front seven for the Giants are you could kind of say they're sort of finding their footing, but the Chiefs never really lost theirs, which is kind of you saw the Chiefs go out and give the Ravens fits in week 1. And, last week wasn't their best outing, right? But, letting a T. Higgins list Bengals keep pace with them, and really it took a couple friendly calls from our Zebras to give the win, not give, but to help the Chiefs win at the end. I get your toss up. Deshaun Watson is not great. Neither, the Giants defense is shaky. What do you do? Are you thinking it's the same situation as me? Like no matter which one I go with, I'm wrong. Like it's gonna
Pretty
be
much.
wrong. Yeah, that's all right. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all. That's just I get that one. Let me open up the old Statarunos. I will start developing my trends, which I don't share really. Like I won't be able to put it on the screen or do anything, but I develop my trends after week 3, so I'm really excited for next week. People in my house aren't because I'll probably be shadowed in my office / the hangar for like 4 hours trying to complete these trends. But after 3 weeks, I can start to develop them. So this is really nice. Are you looking for Deshaun rush yards?
I mean, that was something he showed us week 2, so Kirk has never really done that, and he's obviously, coming off the injury from last season and still kind of working on his movement. So yeah.
Well, he gave up 88 to Jaden Daniels, so he gave up a whole bunch of yards the Giants did. So they're 28th in the league in yards per game through 2 weeks. So yeah, it's a tough. I get where you're going with that. So I will say 23.49 seems more like a ceiling than it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't a
Yeah,
projection.
for real.
But, we'll move on to the running back group. You'll notice that my flex has been at this moment is currently in the running back slot. I have Saquon, Zach Charbonnet, Jerome Ford, and Rashad White for the same reason that I just mentioned to you that that Deshaun and his rushing attempts against the Giants are probably valid. I'm also going with Jerome Ford. Zach Charbonnet should once again be the one in Seattle. Kenny Walker is doubtful again. Saquon Barkley, no brainer. I don't have to talk to anybody. Rashad White, it looks like is still at a 0. I haven't heard if he is out yet, so I'm now going to look that up because if he is, I may switch this very quickly. I may do it live on the show. Who knows?
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's definitely looking pretty questionable. Something I think it was his hamstring. It everything I think I was hearing and reading was it might not happen.
That's fair. I don't hate that. He hasn't had a great first couple weeks anyway, right? Like
Yeah,
he had the catches to save him in week 1, but he has just not been rushing the ball at all. What's the latest news on this? Anyways, as I finish looking that up, I mean, I'll touch back on Rashad White when we get to the wide receivers and where I would go from there. I think Saquon and Jerome are the two lock starters for me. The one question I'm probably going to get is, well, Jerome Ford didn't see as many carries as D'Onta Foreman last week, and I would say you are correct. But Jerome Ford was the better runner. He got the only pass attempts, and D'Onta Foreman had about 30% of his carries on a final drive when the game was already put away. So, I was always a fan last year when Chubb went out, the 3 or 4 weeks he was out with the injury at first. Jerome Ford had the game-winning drive, or the game-closing drive, I should say, not the game-winning. But he would be the one on the field, and I said that was always telling. I don't think that this is quite as telling with D'Onta Foreman because he did not get the start. So, that's just my 411 on it. I could be a completely opposite for no good reason compared to what I was. So that is where I sit with my running back. As I do research on Rashad White, you take the floor and describe your starts.
yeah. I mean, Achan, no brainer. Madison. Well, I'll come back to him. JT, another no brainer. And then, so I guess other people I'm contemplating Javonte Williams, who had a better second week, but that offense is just trash. So not great trusting anybody there. Zamir White, also, I mean, this is his second year from going back to Javonte, year coming off of a big injury. So he should be more of himself, but whether it's the offense or what, he's not himself yet. So I'm not basically just not trusting him yet. Zamir White has not been great, unfortunately. I had high hopes the way he ended things last year. That was last year, right? Yeah, when Jacobs was hurt. I would have
Yes.
liked to have played him. But yeah, that hasn't really been panning out. Madison has been kind of, which is funny because he had a lead opportunity and didn't do much with it. He always seems to do much better when he's the like complimentary back. So I'm gonna keep riding his hot hand if hopefully it continues because I don't have a lot of other great options. Spears was another guy, Tajay Spears, that I had more hope with because they kept saying 1A, 1B. That has not been the case.
Yeah, that's uh, like I want to say that like when we look at the contract situation where you bring in Tony Pollard for 3 years and 24 million, where you're just kind of like, it's a similar thing to really what you see with Derrick Henry. Like they're getting paid dime for dime the same this year, and neither one has had like Derrick Henry is just much more of a power back, and he's had the goal lines, and he's better fantasy scoring wise than Justice Hill. Justice Hill has played 35% of the snaps this year.
Did you see
That's
they just extended his contract, Justice Hill?
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, because he
He
will
ju-
be there. He will
I
be
think he just
there.
got one.
I would not be surprised. I did not see that, but good. He should. He's a good pass catching back, and he can play third downs as well, which he had the week 1. He had most of the third downs against the Chiefs. But to bring this back to Tajay Spears, is you saw the money come in. You're like, well, when they say 50-50, I want a 1A, 1B. And then after week 1, they come back out and they say, well, we want it to be more split than that. And then it doesn't happen. And I want to know that I want to trust that they're riding the hot hand in Tennessee, but that's just not worked out really at
Yeah.
all for Tajay Spears. He hasn't been hot. And same for Zamir White. Quick side note, any thought on starting Javonte Williams at all?
You mean the rest of the season or yeah,
Well,
I
this
talked
week.
okay. Um yeah, he was in consideration. It would be him or Madison. Who's Denver playing?
Tampa Bay. 20th in the league versus the Rush. at 138.5 per game. We know that's probably the only halfway decent mode of transportation of the football when the Broncos have it. At least at this time. Opponent yards per rush at almost 5 a clip. They're giving up 29 rushes per game. And they're 31st in the league, giving up 2 rushing touchdowns per game.
That is a little bit more compelling, although the Panthers are even worse, I think.
Oh, well, they are. Yes. No, 100%. But I'm just
Yeah,
I'm as a way out of the because you're dealing with 2 split backfields, really. We haven't seen
right.
Javonte take the 70% that bell cow role we'd like. So I was just questioning. That's all.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a PPR league, so Jaleel getting the,
Pass catching.
receiving back stuff, it makes it harder to go with Javante.
I think Javonte actually had 3 catches last week, but it's about time they step him in
He's
there.
yeah, he's involved with the catching, but maybe it was week 1 he had some drops, which was,
Yeah, he did.
you know,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right. To follow up on Rachaad White, he was removed from the injury report after being a full participant Friday, and he will play on Sunday versus the Broncos.
There you go.
So there's the update on Rachaad White. He was started the year as my RB14 for the year. He is down to RB17 after a dreadful week 2. Actually, I was after week 1, so it probably should be even lower, but we'll leave it as it says.
Do you have
So
Bucky?
I do.
Oh,
So if
okay.
he had been hurt, I drafted Bucky in the 4th when somebody stole Braylon Allen from me. We're not going to mention his name. Whack. Braylon Allen's going off. Side note. To the wide receivers, I have, because my flex is a running back right now as it sits, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, and Jamison Williams. You will notice a glaring name from the other 2 weeks that is missing. That is Michael Pittman. I would rather have Pittman go off on my bench because I think that his floor is lower than any of the 4 running backs here. I don't see Rachaad White having another 5-point game against Denver. I don't think Denver has the defensive chops that we saw last week with Detroit, which is what Tampa Bay, like I said, against running backs, Detroit is very good. So T. Higgins was a full participant. He came out and said, I'm 100%. He plays Monday night. That is the only thing that scares me. My alternate for that would be Khalil Shakir. He also plays Monday night as we are back to the 2 Monday night games. So I am hoping I don't have to do that, but I think Khalil Shakir against Jacksonville is at least a solid out. Anyways, I'm not going to not start Rashee Rice. Jamison Williams has the 2nd most targets by a landslide on the Lions. He has 20 targets. I mean, pick either one of the weeks from week 1 or week 2. He has more targets in either one of those games than Sam Laporta has through both games combined. So,
Yeah, so are
go
you
ahead.
actually concerned about that at all? Because like the
It's
team's
going
not
to
winning.
it's going to well, the team's not winning, but it has nothing to do with the pass. That was Dan Campbell came out last week and said that was my fault, and he's right. That was a bad. It was a gaffe with the clocks, and he didn't have time, and it kind of screwed everything, and that's just the way it works. Jamison Williams was drafted as a. You have to remember where Jamison Williams was drafted. Drake London, Garrett Wilson, like you're talking about
Yeah.
these bigger. He was the 12th overall pick. The man has speed. He's probably he's probably sub 4.3 when he gets going up his top speed. Not as quick as Xavier Worthy, but sub 4.3 is monster. Um, Xavier Worthy's monster, right? Like we look at that speed and it's so explosive. Jamison Williams has the chops to be the 2nd on this team. Is that going to play out all year? I don't think so. I think it would be illogical of us to just say, Sam Laporta is just going to fade as the 3rd option in this offense. And really, if you had the running backs, the 4th or 5th option. I think that's illogical. I don't think that makes sense. Sam Laporta proved himself. He can be the safety valve for everything else. Now, the interesting part is that Arizona does not have a good secondary. I think when you get to a team that has 2 cornerbacks that can stand up, or a cornerback and even a safety that can stand up to both Amon-Ra in the slot or Amon-Ra on the short side, and then Jamison going deep or Jamison running more of a posts or slants or anything like that. When you start talking about that, you're going to see Laporta have a good game. And I would not be surprised if it's this week. I would not. I don't think it's smart to to take someone who's averaging 10 targets a game right now through two games, but he had 10 targets last week. In week 1, he had 9 targets, or no, he had 11 targets. I'm sorry, week 1. And Amon-Ra had like 4, Laporta had 3 or something. You're like, all right, well, that's going to be, obviously it's going to regress a little bit. Then he goes out last week. Amon-Ra has 18, 20, 21 targets, and Jameson Williams still has 9. And
Yeah.
Sam Laporta is the one who's left out. So I think it's a little bit more rotationary than we want. The other thing that is kind of glaring in the eyes right now is Jahmyr Gibbs is not getting backfield work he's not getting as much pass catching work. There is going to be a move to the average with that. I'm hoping it happens after Michael Pittman wakes up. So that's my guy. So Pittman is sitting for me this week. I am playing Rashee Rice is the one in Kansas City, like I predicted last year, and like I said, the last half of last year is that Travis Kelce is fading. Travis Kelce is fading. Travis Kelce is fading. Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. Rashee Rice did me a huge favor by getting into some legal troubles. Awesome. Probably won't get suspended this year, but may next year. He is the one in Kansas City. There's no. I don't think. Can we argue that anymore?
No.
I don't think that I think we've seen it. I'm not saying Kelsey's going to be 0. There's again, just with like Laporta, it's going to be progress to the mean. For me, Rashee Rice is a must start as long as it's not a bye and he's healthy. So hopefully those 3 work out for me. I will let you have the floor with your wide receiver.
So yeah, I'm for somebody who has a lot of wide receiver depth, it is not the depth that you want because it's a lot of rookies. So the plan was to, have healthy guys as, everyone would want leading further into the season, and then hopefully the rookies start to figure things out. But Debo is hurt, there goes my
Mamiya.
yeah, there goes that. I don't know how long he'll be out. Hopefully it's not too long. So with the guys I have, DJ Moore is a lock. Olave, I'm glad they figured some stuff out because the first week was scary. Um, he, he should be a lock for me, but week 1 was a little questionable. And then after that, it's slim pickings. It's a lot of rookies. Odunze,
There you
is
go.
he still questionable?
I believe they removed his Q tag.
Okay.
I will double check while you talk.
Okay, with Keenan out, that might be in play.
You're gonna go the double Chicago?
I know, and that's the only thing is like I hate doing double Chicago. Lad, I gotta keep rolling him. Unless Herbert doesn't play, he's basically the number 1, if not like a 1A, 1B on that team. With Bryce Young being benched, Leggett could be a consideration. I just don't know if they'll figure it out in 1 week, and I might need to wait until another week with him. And it's still Andy Dalton, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then my other guys, like Malachi Corey hasn't done anything. Troy Franklin had 1 target, didn't catch it. Bo Nix is also not great yet. Dontavian Wicks would be, he's kind of boomer bust. Alec Pierce, I feel like, is also boomer bust, but he's done it 2 weeks in a row, so I'm gonna keep riding the train.
See what happens. Oh, so you're starting Pierce? I'm sorry.
I am, yeah.
I left this down. Okay. No, I like that because I hope that happens for you because that means it won't happen for Michael Pittman. Go on.
Yeah.
Side
the only
note,
other guy.
Adunze has been removed from the injury report. It is a knee sprain, but he's good to go for Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about Chicago is obviously, they have the rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, still working through some things. And then I can't remember who the offensive coordinator is, but I was listening to a podcast. Waldron. So where was he last year?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I'll look it up. You go.
But wherever he was last year, they did not utilize. Oh, it was Seahawks.
Okay,
Prime
yep.
example. JSN week 2. they figure out how to utilize him. He goes off. I don't think that's going to be the case on a regular basis, but clearly he was not utilizing JSN the way that he should have been. And I think that is unfortunately now you have a combination of a rookie quarterback and Shane Waldron not utilizing players the way that they should be used. Um, DJ Moore is decent so far through 2 weeks, but like without Keenan Allen and you have a rookie wide receiver in Roma Dunze.
Easy for you to say.
uh, teams are kind of, they know who to cover. So I'm kind of in a shitty position there. So that was all to say, like, you should hope that Moore continues to do decently, but teams can kind of cover him if they want to. And Adunze maybe being a little banged up and a rookie, not ideal. I think once they get Allen back, we'll see a lot better offense, hopefully. But yeah, uh, I'm kind of
There's
basically questioning all of my wide receiver plays, but this is the two that I have to play, I think, are Moore and Olave.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. Indianapolis is next to last in completion percentage allowed to opponents right now through 2 games. That's 78%. It also doesn't help that they've lost Juju Brents for the season. So their secondary is hurting. DeForest Buckner is gone for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for the Bears. And it starts really, like you said, I think with DJ Moore and Odunze. But spoiler alert, the only team that is worse at opponent completion percentage is the New York Giants. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Tight ends, I'm not going to touch on a lot. Zach Ertz is kind of a safety valve for Jaden Daniels. Noah Fant has 3 total catches in 2 games. I really am waiting for TJ Hawkinson to come back. And my tight ends are kind of dog water until then. So not great. I don't see you being super comfortable with your 2 tight ends either. No.
Nope. I mean, I was in a terrible position coming into the year to begin with. I was basically just going to ride Njoku, and I was hoping Otten would,
So you're
pick up where he left off, but that has not been the case.
no, that's the Chris Godwin stole all that.
Yeah,
So
which I did read a lot of him going back to the slot, so
that's
should have expected.
he's been happy. He's been happy in the slot. You're starting Foster Moreau and who?
Yeah, Brenton Strange. You gotta hope.
Pokemon?
Yeah, right. If
We don't know.
Evan Ingram is out, which I believe he still is, then he was a second round pick, Brenton Strange. So I'm hoping second year in the system. He had some flashes the first year. We'll see.
Ingram missed practice again today. Friday is the important one, so he's a little bit further away. He is considered day to day. Is listed as questionable for Sunday. According to head coach Doug Peterson, the quote is Evan right now, he's a little bit further away. We will have to take it day to day right now with him. Questionable looks to be nice. So you're probably
Looks to
right.
be nice.
Questionable, like that's a very good term, essentially.
Okay.
So it looks like I think you may be okay with Brenton Strange, at least for a dart throw. I
Gotta get strange sometimes.
that's all right. I'll hit that again. No, you don't. All right. For the offense, we will just go through the offense. Disagree with me if you want. Let's see. I think our quarterbacks. I think I have a tiny edge on quarterbacks, but if I think I'm sacrificing that on paper, if I swap out Fields for Stafford in the hopes that Fields has a boom game. That's the reality. So let's put that as the caveat in there. I think you have the running back edge. I think that there's your top 3 beat my top 3, and whichever the 3 are. Saquon can compete with A-Chain, but Taylor is just a hands down better second back. So I think you have the running backs. It will take one of those 2 to really not have a good game for any combination of my 4 to do okay. And then reverse, I think your best 3 wide receivers and my best 3. You could go either way with this. Honestly, it depends on what Pierce gets. It depends on. I think Olave is a good bet. Philadelphia, let me see where they are. They actually they're respectable in the past game so far this year. That could be worse. Where's my stats? Damn it. There it is. So Olave will probably be pretty decent. It's still of a play. Derek Carr is ripping it up. So then it comes down to DJ Moore, Lad. So I think that's more of a toss up than the projections are giving you. I do. And then tight ends, it's who cares, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, if we score points with those guys, we're happy. So, um, real quick, we'll go into the defense. I won't say real quick, but none of these projections for defense are right. I just want to point that out.
No,
We're not going off.
these
I've
are
said that in
horrendous.
other. These are horrendous. They're not good. I don't know why they're that low. Um, Aiden Hutchinson at 5 is still disrespectful. Will Anderson, Yaya Diaby, Jared Verse. Jared Verse is playing 87% of defensive snaps on average between the first 2 weeks. What a rookie. Yaya Diaby played 74% of snaps last week for Tampa Bay. I am hoping that Denver's somewhat weakened front line will allow him to get a sack or two, and it will help me. Will Anderson is just a monster, and Minnesota's defense is good. I don't think their O line is amazing, so I'm hoping Will Anderson gets home a couple times as well. For you, this looks like it's kind of the same thing for Daniil Hunter on your side. It's kind of like get home a couple times. Hunter and Anderson are like 1-2 punch in Houston. Aiden
Mhm.
Hutchinson is a dumb not like you have to play him like against everybody.
He got like 24, 30 points last week.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
that's defenses are putting up a buck 50, buck 70 most weeks now. Zaven Collins, good snap share. It's more of an opportunity. I think Detroit has a really good O line, so it's tougher on that side of the ball for Zaven than it is for Aiden. But I again kind of I would say you have the edge because of Aiden Hutchinson. Jared Verse has bailed me out because of a sack and a forced fumble between each of the last 2 weeks. So he's put up a solid amount of points, but it hasn't been 20. Um, so it all comes down. The big thing is the tackles. I think the secondary means a lot for these. Um, I won't call this. I think this is pretty straight up, pretty because I don't know what Zaven Collins is going to give you.
Hmm.
So, and I don't know what Yaya Diaby is going to give me, to be honest. So, toss up in my opinion. Linebackers are dart throws for me at this point. I have removed from the defensive ends. I removed Jadeveon Clowney because he's been a clowny. But Tyrell Dodson, Diane Henley, Jeremiah Wilson Karamoa, and Shaq Thompson for me all have produced well in the first 2 weeks. I think they're both, all of them are averaging somewhere around 12 to 15 points each. Great. Do it again. And you have actually a really good linebacker group. Quincy Williams underperformed for you by my estimation for a team that runs the ball against a team that runs the ball a lot. Kyle Van Noy is like 33, but still does his stuff. Alex Singleton is going to have probably fun, I would say. He's going to end up with at least some work off of Chris Godwin slash Rashad White, I would
Hmm.
imagine. And Jordan Hicks, I don't know. The Giants are short field game. I haven't seen Jordan Hicks plays, but I'm assuming he's fairly decent. Do you have any notes as far as your defense goes as you look over this?
I mean, I didn't really have a lot of other options. Jerome Baker is doubtful,
He's
and
honest, ladies and gentlemen. He's
yeah,
honest.
and Drew Tranquil has been mediocre at best. So it was basically these guys.
Yeah, Tranquil was a beast 2 years ago, and then um, I'm gonna give you the linebacker. I think we're pretty toss up at defensive end. I will put a firm foot in the ground that my secondary is probably better than most of the leagues right now. Um, Darius Slay and Devon Witherspoon. Um, and then Brian Branch and Jaquan Brisker. My safeties are averaging like 28 points for me between the first 2 weeks. So total. So 14 per spot is not bad. Take
Yeah,
that. Brian Branch is a monster. To be honest, he's everywhere on the field. Jaquan Brisker is too. I'm waiting for Brisker Biscuit to come out and get a random safety sack, but Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Jordan Fuller for you, and then you have Tyreek Stevenson and Deontay Banks. I think Deontay Banks is becoming rather underrated.
yeah. I actually got him on the waivers.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of youth there. You just got to find who's playing it. That's a good one. I mean, the Giants need a good cornerback, and if he can develop into one, he will be there for a very long time. So right now, as you can see, Quincy Williams, the only person who scored for either one of us through the Thursday night game. You have 11.3 for him. It says you are 70% projected to win right now. So I don't know. Oh, that's probably because Rashad White is a 0. I just realized
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Also, it's based off of the horrible projections in the defense, but at least those are even across the board for the most part. So yeah, I mean, if you give Rashad White his 15 or so points, they'll probably project him to have, will probably be much closer to 50-50. What is the projection anyway right now? 198. Yeah, but that would be almost dead on. Be 215 to 214. So there you go.
Huh. Your projections are different than mine.
The
I
ones you
have go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the ones you have in the app, or
Yeah, I have 248.7 for you and 240 for me.
I don't make the rules. I don't design the site, so ah. Um
That's interesting.
Naturally, now that Demario Douglas, I've left 15 points on my bench with Demario Douglas, who had no business having 15 points from that trash game last night that we're going to talk about briefly before we sign off. I'm one of the 3 guys in my wide receiver spot's not getting 14 points now. So there you go. That's the way that works. Um, Unfortunately, if we're applying
Got
the
a
same,
solid 2.9 from Hooper.
that also means that you're probably not going to get 2.9 from one of your tight ends. Sorry. I think that's a small price to pay. I think it's a
Yeah, right.
small price to pay. Sauce Gardner gave me 8.4. Christian Gonzalez gave you 6.3. And then you still are rocking it with Kendre Miller and Tyler Higbee and David Njoku on your waiver wire. I don't think Tyler Higbee is playing much
My
this year at
my
all.
injury reserve.
You,
Yeah, my
you have
IR.
you have 2 people you can drop there, probably, my friend.
Probably.
Kendre and Higby it's rough. Anyways, that is part 1 of this. We've gone through our lineup. I'll be back, at least me, to touch on it next week. Next week. Well, it is next week from when we're recording. It'll probably Tuesday. We'll come back through and we'll see the scoring and we'll talk about all of the fun things that happened, because there will be fun things. Real quick, who scored points for Zach at 29 a clip? Oh, Brees Hall. Yeah, I forgot he has Brees Hall. And then he has Quinnen Williams with 9.8. That's disgusting. Garrett Wilson with 14. Anyway, all right. So with that first part, we're gonna reconvene because I really want to chat about this game last night. I really want to get it out to the world. I know Taylor's not gonna want to hear this again. He's probably gonna fall asleep in the middle, be bitching about it. But let me tell you, man's gotta say some stuff. Man's gotta say some stuff. All right, so Taylor, you're gonna hang around for a little bit? Good, because I've got a bitch about some stuff. We'll be right back.
All right. I'll hang around, I guess.
I appreciate it. All right, the final section of this episode, we're gonna chit chat just a little bit about Thursday night football game. I'm gonna talk a little more real about this one. Yeah, Taylor's gonna be dealing with a lot of sad
Yeah.
things. But you know what? If you have to deal with all of that, if you had to say about that was sad for everyone who watched it, was this. It was not good. Let me tell you that.
Ooh. Oh, gee.
You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'll be right back. Oh. Oh, it's bad. Excuse me, kids. I need to run. Okay, can somebody give me some paper towels? Or maybe a... Okay. Oh, it's bad.
It was a wet pile of dog excrement, and that's wasn't great at all. Wasn't great at all. I don't know. So this is going to lead into the last part of this particular episode, which of course is Thursday night football, Jets Patriots version of Sarcastic Sportscaster, which will be happening after we're done talking here. But what are you Oh, no, I didn't. I don't think so. Audio technical difficulties. What are you saying? Same shit, right?
Yeah. For those listening, I just sent him a message saying they're not coming through.
And you can hear me though, right? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For those of you listening as well, and I didn't say this in the first part of the video, so 37 minutes in, we'll try it now. This cord right here is like this close to going out. So I'm doing this on literally the last thread that I have. Oh God.
Are you sure about that?
Is that better?
There we go.
It's probably real quiet. That's all. I didn't turn the volume up. It's very sad. Anyways, so the Thursday night football game, Jets and Patriots. Let's have a conversation. We'll start with the good. The Jets. Okay, done. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was 32 again back in Green Bay. Just winning football games and yucking it down the field, finding open people. He scrambled out of the pocket better than Jacoby Brissett, who is, I don't know, 15 years younger than him, maybe 12 years younger. I don't know how old Jacoby Brissett is because I don't care.
Yeah.
Just to be honest. But Garrett Wilson got fed. Tyler Conklin got fed. Alan Lazard got fed. Breece Hall got fed. Braylon Allen has found his way into this offense to be somebody who is almost fantasy respectable on a weekly basis. It seems that way. We are 3 weeks in, and this is the second straight week where he has interjected himself into the offense in an effective manner. So let's just start with that. The Jets seem to be better than their record indicates. If I'm not mistaken, they're now 1-2. They lost to the 49ers. And they
2-1.
lost. They beat the Titans. Okay. All right. So they're 2-1. That's good. I think that's fair. I think the San Francisco's the better team. That makes sense. They were healthy then for the most part. So I think that's fair. I think the Patriots are a bottom 5 team in the NFL right now. So sorry. I know that probably hurts Taylor's feelings. He can put up the sad emojis again if he wants to.
Doesn't necessarily hurt my feelings. It's a factual statement. It's just it's tough to watch my team.
Yeah, it's not good. So let's we can kind of glaze over and chalk up the Jets to being a good football team. The Patriots, on the other hand, oh my God. All right. Okay. Ramondre Stevenson, the only vehicle for this offense.
Mm-hmm.
The only vehicle. And I'm surprised it's worked as well as it has through 3 weeks. And that's saying something for someone who had like 14 yards and a fumble last night. Like 14 total rushing yards and a fumble. Like, you cannot rely on this. It's not only Ramondre's fault. There's no game planning to get him opportunities that are worthwhile, right? I don't think that's a surprise. Am I saying anything that's wrong, Taylor? You've watched this. Did you watch the game at all last night, and even some of the game?
I watched like the third quarter pretty much because I missed the first half, and then I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this.
It was out of hand at that point, right?
Yeah.
It was just, and then I think the third quarter is when Ramondre fumbled. Am I right?
I must have turned it off before that. I don't remember.
Yeah, you were. I mean, it wasn't an easy to tell. It wasn't like a bad fumble. He just got swallowed and it got punched out, and it is what it is. But he's had 3 fumbles now in 3 weeks, and he's lost 2 of them. So defenses have honed in on this. It's not exactly like there's any secret to this.
Mm-hmm.
We know this is a developing team. I'm trying to slowly work this into me losing my sanity. We know this is a bad team. We know that it's not going to compete this year. Like I said to you in pre-show, and I'll say it now so I can put it out on the video. I think 4 wins is a good bar for them this year. If you get 4 wins, you're great. And by winning the first game of the season, you did yourself a load of favor to get there. Against what I would have expected to be a better Bengals team. So shouts to the defense. But this team operates on the defense can stop anybody, and it can't. And that the offense will just kind of pick and pluck its way down the field at some point and score 7 or 10 points, and then you'll win 10-6 or 10-9. And that's not how this league works almost ever. I don't know. I understand that there's moving pieces here. The best thing about this team offensively, besides Ramondre, which again, Ramondre is good, but he's choked up because it's not his fault. is Demario Douglas, in my opinion. I will still say this. That's for now. That will change. Jalen Polk has the greatest separation rate of all rookie wide receivers through 2 weeks. Third week isn't complete, so I don't know if that was, but through 2 weeks, he has the greatest separation rate of any rookie wide receiver. He's going to be something special. He can't get the ball. The O line we know is trash. It's bad. It's horrible. There's 5 guys there, and they are literally just 5 guys. I don't know who these people are. If you were to put them in Madden, their overalls would be a 2-digit number that started with 4, and it's nothing that you want any piece of. I mean, like from the third quarter that you saw, these are things that had to stand out to you, right?
Yeah.
Like you just watch Jacoby. Jacoby has more time than people want to say he has. Jacoby also isn't doing the things that a standard starting quarterback in the NFL should be doing with that time to make it seem like that time is being used correctly. That's my opinion of it anyway, right? I don't think he works through reads well. I don't think his internal clock is worth a damn. I think you literally could put a tortoise back there and he would have a better instinct of when he was about to get tackled. It's not winning you football games. This man has thrown for less than 400 yards in 3 weeks. I want to know when the last quarterback was who could do that. Can anybody? Because that's actually something I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'm going to make sure. I'll double check my stats right now just to make sure. I'm pretty sure. Just to make sure that we are on this, the passing yards. Was it gross passing yards? That's not good. Passing yards net. I have them backwards, right? Net is total is missing sacks, right?
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God, he doesn't even have 300. 297. What kind of pass? Like,
Wait,
nothing.
through 3 games?
That would include. Hold on, it says season totals.
No, so
Well, he had 98. He had 98 last night. So, either way, my original statement was correct.
yeah, your original statement is correct, but I see 121, 149, 98, so it's definitely more than 2 something.
Okay. No, you're right. So that probably doesn't have last night's in there. Which also that's not 2 night. Whatever. Regardless, less than 400.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
To put that in perspective, okay. Let's see. Deshaun Watson has 309 through 2 weeks. Daniel Jones has 341 through 2 weeks.
Thank you, Malik Neighbors last week.
Well, but it takes 2 to tango, right? Anthony Richardson. Oh boy. Anthony Richardson has 26 completions through 2 weeks. He has 397 yards. He hasn't even played. He still has more yards than Jacoby Brissett. And he has less completions, which is a talent. It's a freaking talent because Jacoby Brissett's not throwing the ball accurately. There's so many 3 and outs that it's like a menage a trois every time you get on the field. It's bad. So Bo Nix has 363 yards. That's offensive. Anyways, moving along. All those numbers through 2 weeks with the exception of Jacoby Brissett. The point is, I want Jacoby Brissett to not start games soon. I really want Drake May out there now, but I understand that these first 4 weeks are trash for opposing quarterbacks versus the defenses they're facing. That being Jacoby Brissett in this case, or what would be Drake May. They're tough. Bengals, Seahawks, then the Jets, then the 49ers. First 4 weeks are not fun defensive lines. I understand. But what is this man doing that is worth a damn? That's the best way I can put it. The best way I can put it. And it's aggravating because I want to see good football. That's really what it comes down to. We've covered this on the show. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. But I do this show because I want to watch football. And what I saw out there last night might as well have been fucking croquet. It might as well have been because the same amount of points would have been scored. If it wasn't for a pass interference, an entire 53-man team named the New England Patriots would have the same amount of points as you and I had last night. Am I wrong? That's my problem. So I'm not a fan of the Patriots in the way that they're handling things. Now, we can speak all day about Gerard Mayo has his own ways. I personally think Gerard Mayo is trying to be too much like somebody he knows he's not. I think the way he handles some of his press conferences and the way he talks, he's trying to be somebody he's not. He needs to be his own coach. Now, I've never seen him be a coach, so who am I to say any of this, right? You can take all that with a grain of salt. That's fine. But when you get asked, like what happened this morning, who's the starting quarterback? And his response, and I quote, I'm quoting this because it made me so angry I remembered it. The end quote, Jacoby Brissett is our starting quarterback until I say he's not our starting quarterback. While true, Dick, you are telling everybody around that they are putting in effort for nothing because they know they can't win with Jacoby. My personal favorite last night was Drake May after the game, where I said, Drake, how do you? Somebody asked him, one of the media asked him, how did you like your reps out there? How did you like? And he goes, well, I was really nervous getting on the field. And to paraphrase, he gets to the end of it and he goes, it went pretty well, but I can't take stupid sacks. Nothing says I'm not learning shit behind this Jamook like that. He's watching Jacoby Brissett take stupid sacks, and he showed it. He moved out of the pocket. He had better pocket presence. Does that mean he's not going to get sacked? No, he's going to get sacked. We know that. The O-line's bad. We know this. Let me ask you a question, Taylor, as a Patriots fan. Let's say that Gerard Mayo didn't say that this morning. Let's say he says, you know what? Drake May's been working hard behind the scenes. We're going to give him a shot next week. Now, ignore that it's against the 49ers and he would probably get murdered. Let's just say that happens. Are you angry?
Angry that he's playing over Jacoby Brissett?
Are you did you just lose a bunch of faith in Gerard Mayo? I'll ask the different question.
No, not necessarily. I guess from my perspective, like there is something to be said about letting a rookie quarterback have some time to, you know, visually learn, take NFL reps in practice. Because I mentioned this in the pre-show, he is taking like 30% of the first team reps. So he is getting that experience. So I think that there's something to be said about that. Um, to your point, Jacoby Brissett is not the best person to be learning from, but I think he's going to have some tidbits here and there that an experienced quarterback can provide. I think it was good for May to get some actual NFL experience in a game, and I do think that the first four games are games you really don't want him to be pummeled with the state of the O-line. So that's all to say that I hope the O-line can start to shore things up a little bit so that May can come in and not be pummeled the rest of the season. It's going to happen, but maybe we can make it a little better. But yeah, I agree. He's got to get some real world experience, whether that's after week 4, whether that's after the halfway point of the season. I want to see this kid on the field for at least half the season. One thing that always concerns me though is building bad habits. And if you have a bad O-line, that is a recipe for building bad habits where you're just constantly nervous about getting sacked. So
That's a good
I don't
point.
know how much that's playing into this. But yeah, I, I know there's always the like, you don't want to put the rookie out there and then have to pull him and have that affect his confidence. So there's something to be said about
The
not
Bryce
putting him
Young.
in.
The
Yeah,
Bryce Young.
exactly. The Bryce Young. So there's something to be said about that. It is, they said something to the effect after the game, like everybody has to, everybody's fighting. Was the wording was like everybody has to earn their starting.
Everybody's always fighting for. It's always a position battle. Everybody's always
Exactly.
in a position battle.
And
That
I
was
think
what Gerard Mayo said.
that was a better way to put it. Then to come out and say Jacoby's our starter, the only thing I can glean from that is they don't want to they don't want to give May the start and then have to pull him. They want to stick with whatever plan they've put in place. And I hope that plan, to your point, includes May playing for half the season or more if that's after week 4, you know.
And that's fair. I agree. I think that's you bring up some valid points. The bad habits is one that sticks out. I said this to you in pre-show, and I'll echo the sentiment. You just said it as well. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's the person who you think he is when you. I don't think that's like. I don't think that's the flex you think it is when you're like Jacoby Brissett's teaching my guy. You know, I don't think that's. I don't think that's really. I don't think that's like a weird flex, kid. Like that's kind of. I think if you had somebody who was, and I placed the hypothetical out there of a Russell Wilson, who when he was released from the Broncos, he signed. Let's say he signed a 1 year, $15 or $20 million deal, and he said, I will come in for 1 year. You draft your quarterback of the future. And you can tell all of this by instantly because of who he is, the aura, the contract, they draft the quarterback. It's a 1 year deal. Everybody can see it clear as day. You don't have to announce it. He's there so that he can learn behind Russell Wilson. In the last 4, 5, 7 games of the year, you throw him out there and you say, now everything we worked on, it's here, right? This is your Super Bowl week in, week out. For the next 7 weeks, if you can go 4-3, this team will survive with you. If you can not turn the ball over, this team will survive with you. If you can do all of these things, and I will be, and then in this scenario, Russell Wilson is the second voice for Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo earns trust. Drake May learns from someone who I think is a little more competent than Jacoby Brissett, just as an example. But everything there is clear as day. We know what's going on. Now, Patriots front office isn't clear as day. Never really has been. So understood. But that's just I think that Jacoby Brissett is not the guy we think he is who's teaching Drake May. And to Drake's strengths, you know, he had more rushing yards than Jacoby Brissett in 1/13th the amount of plays.
Yeah.
That's that's wild. He ran 8 plays. He literally ran 8 plays. I had more rushing yards. Like maybe Jacoby learned something from Drake. That'd be wild. If Jacoby Brissett has a scramble rush yard next week after the mini bye, oh boy, is it gonna be! I'm literally gonna be like Drake May's teaching Jacoby now. But yeah, that was the only thing that really that threw me off about that. It was fun to see Drake get his snaps. Like you had echoed earlier, I don't know if I would be as invested if I was not a Drake fantasy owner, but I do like good football. I do like, and I don't want to turn on specifically a subscription service, which we could talk a whole other episode about this, but specifically a subscription service that you pay a fair amount of money for because you need to do that because NFL's got their hands in so many different fucking pockets that I pay and then I get to watch that flop. 3 points. I mean, if it wasn't for the pass interference that I don't think was a pass interference, they would have scored the field goal. It would have been a shutout. They would have scored as many points as you and I did last night. I'm not lying about that. I don't think that's fair to the people who pay for their money. I know NFL doesn't know when they make the schedule that that's how things are going to work out. I get that. That's fair. You know, I'm not sitting here and crusade against the NFL because a bad game happened. Those happen all the time. The only crusade I would go against the NFL is if you're going to put all these games in different streaming markets, you should at least have a cheaper red zones type thing somewhere. But again, that's a whole different story. It sucks that I had to turn that on and to watch part of that, which is part of my job for this, right? Sarcastic Sportscaster doesn't come from anything, and then I got to watch this stinky doo-doo diaper twice. I had to watch most of it last night and rewatch the highlights, aka the Jets and how they won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just my only. So the final piece to this, I'll let Taylor have a little bit of the show. I don't know. Do we have we don't have a set date on when you're coming back, but it will be relatively soon for another episode.
Yeah, nothing set in stone, but yeah, I'm hoping to,
We're hoping
you know,
We're
Make
hoping
some appearances here and there.
somewhere prior to Halloween. We are hoping that he will be joining us again. We haven't. I know that's a very long time from when we're recording this on the 20th of September. That gives you 5.5 weeks of a lot of I don't know what's happening, but it would be. I think that's a fair bar that we can we might be able to borrow Taylor for another hour and a half. So, Taylor, if you wish to say goodbye, you may have the floor for a few seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. For now, bye for now.
Peace out. Bye for now. Yeah.
This man. That's all this man says. He says bye.
That's
Peace
all.
out.
Yeah. Peace
For
out.
Derek,
That's my sign off.
it's been that way for so long. He ain't changed. He ain't changed that. Why would he change that? That's OG. Taylor says peace out. I will leave you guys in the fantasy hangar. I will leave you guys with this. It is the latest episode of Sarcastic Sportscaster, and at the end we will put in the credits that aren't credits. It's the song. But you guys take care. We will see you next week for another episode of Fiddy Tree. Pieces.
He's nobody's fool on the air, you see. He's giving them sighs with a smile, carefree. He's a sarcastic sportscaster, sarcastic with poor stature. Sarcastic sportscaster is here.
All right, first and 10 from the Jets 40. Let's try that again. This is a little bit of a pass out to Breece Hall. He makes a couple people miss. He's going to get a first down because the Patriots defense looks like absolute monkey scrotum. Then we're going to get a handoff here. That is also, is that Breece? I didn't even see who that was. It looked like Breece. Anyway, he gets first down. Then we got a zippity doodah from Rodgers. That's Garrett Wilson. He makes an appearance on the Sarcastic Sportscaster. And then this is Tyler Conklin, who hasn't even caught a cold this season. And this man's going to go for 20 yards or 22 yards. Down in the red zone, little handoff to Breece Hall, who's just kind of going to barrel roll his way in. And that counts for 7 more points. Well, it's 6 points, but you're going to get 7 after the extra kick. Look at this little woo. And he ball breaks the plane. It's a good play. It's a touchdown for the Jets. On the other side, Jacoby Brissett, he's throwing it to Tyquan Thornton, but they're going to call there's a penalty on that, and then I don't know, man. It was pretty loose. This crew, I don't know the names of these referees, and nor do I want to, because they're not the greatest. I don't know. That was a disgusting call, to be honest. And then Demario Douglas, who we haven't seen do this, makes a couple guys miss. He dives. He gets 9.7 yards out of 10. Solid effort from the young man there. And then Jacoby Brissett is going to launch one. No, not really launch one. That's a lie. Good little spin here and a miss. There's a few yards on that. It's fourth down. We're going to kick a field goal. This was the closest that the Patriots got to the end zone in this game. I've been closer to being the president of the United States than the Patriots have been to scoring points at a football game in this particular venture. Okay, so Rodgers, yeet, again, in the middle. Hey, it's Tyler Conklin, who, again, I don't know where he came from. Sure, he hadn't done anything in 2 games, but sure. And then Breece Hall, he's very patient. He's a patient man. And he's going to go to the outside and go out of bounds. Good for him. He gets about 8 yards. 3rd and 5, end of the second quarter. Aaron Rodgers inside. That's Mike Williams. Hey, good. Welcome back to the show, Mike Williams. You know, he left Los Angeles, went to New York, and he's doing some things. And that's an inaccurate throw by Rodgers with 11 seconds left. So they're just going to have Gigi Zerolini, doink one left. Look at that whiff. My grandmother could kick better. Anyway, into the third. Quick release from Brissett to Demario Douglas. That's 12 or so yards. First down. Oh, that's second. We're still in the second. I don't even know why we did that. You could have just kneeled it. Just to show that maybe he can throw the ball. I don't know. Brissett throws it again. That one's to Jalen Polk. Good for you. You get yards. The offensive line here, I don't know if you're catching on. The offensive line for the Patriots, I mean, they're not stopping anything at all. I don't have a good analogy because it's just so bad. And Aaron Rodgers is out scrambling Jacoby Brissett, and it's not even close. And Aaron Rodgers is practically old enough for AARP. This looks like, is that Braylon Allen? Who's the 0? Abanikanda? I don't know. Some other running back. Who knows? And then Aaron Rodgers, again, mobile. He's mobile. He's moving. That's Tyler Conklin, who once again has no business being the leading Jets receiver, but I'll be damned if this wasn't the game he was going to do that. Quick little RPO action. Garrett Wilson, he's gonna at least got the first down. He's down to the 2. He's an angry man despite winning. And then it's okay. Aaron Rodgers has you, my friend. Absolute dot to Garrett Wilson for the touchdown, and it's going to be 21-3. And at this point, if you're a Patriots fan, you either broke your TV and turned it off, or at least did the latter, because look at this pass. Whew. He mailboxed it, and he stops and cuts inside the pylon. Fantastic passing play, and good for Garrett Wilson. He's become useful in a fantasy aspect as well as on the actual field. Then a little bit of a deep throw pass. This is to Demario Douglas, who's the only person who apparently can get open in this game. He had 9 of Jacoby Brissett's 18 targets. There's Hunter Henry, who caught the ball like he was about to be attacked by a lion. And he's going places, and that's okay. Good for him. Where's that Hooper? It's Hooper. It's not Hunter Henry. It's okay. I could be forgiven for not knowing which random Patriots tight end. And what is this? This is, I don't even know. He just let it go, throw it away. I guess you got the penalty. Whatever. Jacoby Brissett's not good. Aaron Rodgers, he scrambles out left. He's going to throw another dot to Tyler Conklin. Still no business doing what he's doing. But you know what? Aaron Rodgers can make good people do good things, and he can make horrible people do acceptable things, and the latter is what happened here. All right, more Tyler Conklin. My point's proven. Also, the Patriots defense is like Swiss cheese, just doesn't have it. See here, the Patriots right here. We're just, you know what, real quick. We're just going to take this back. We're going to take this back just a hot second. All right, you have what appears to be that they're rushing 4. The linebackers are spread, all right? So your 7 is really spread. You got 3 wide outs, three wide receivers out there for the Jets. And what I'm looking at is a whole bunch of space in this neck of the woods, okay? Because this looks like it's going to be a too high safety. But you don't, I mean, like, they don't have anybody who's really pressuring. Look at this. You got 7 men here, okay? 7. And then you got 7. And this is just bad. I don't know. Like, you can tell they're not ready for Aaron Rodgers at all. Definitely not ready for that screen, giving up a whole bunch of yards to the weak side in the defense. They're just piss poor. And then Ramondre Stevenson, and he's going to forget how holding on to the football feels. And that ball is coming out. And it's picked up by Chuck Clark. And you just got fumbled and recovered by Chucky C. All right. And then Aaron Rodgers, he's got the ball back, and he makes throws. One of these teams is not like the other. One of these teams just doesn't belong in the NFL. And that one team's the Jets here. Back down in the red zone. We still got 10 minutes to go in the 4th. And Aaron Rodgers is like, all right, well, whatever. We'll throw some stuff up there. And it was almost caught. Thank God that somebody, Jack Jones, can defend anybody. And then Greg Zuerlein, it's time for redemption. Can you not miss it this time? You sure can't. Give him enough tries, he'll make it. 24-3, and from here on out, you can just watch Drake Mays in the football game because Gerard Mayo said, hey, maybe Jacoby Brissett is a giant pile of trash at the quarterback position. We should try and actually let the young rookie, see some snaps. Maybe he can do something. Obviously, you're only going to see the highlights here. He was all right. It wasn't great. It was good. He's on target with at least most of his throws. I think it was 4 for 8. There's Demario Douglas, another reception. Douglas had a good game. Good game here for Demario. Got to give him points there. But here's something we didn't see Jacoby Brissett do. Have pocket presence and leave. Oh, my God. And Drake May doesn't even look like he's really trying. Like, that would look like the lightest run I've ever seen. And then this is the best play I think he made. Right here, little stripe down the middle to Demario Douglas again. This one's in the red zone. They don't score, but, stuff happened. And here's last attempt, and it's a sack. That's how it ends. These two teams are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Jets win.